7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and lift off. Go Falcon, go Dragon.
And liftoff. NASA's SpaceX 32nd Commercial Resupply Services mission is on its way to the International Space Station, carrying over 3 tons of science and supplies to Expedition 73 as it begins its pitch downrange.
Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Launch Complex 39A at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. During ascent, we tilt or gimbal the engines, guiding the rocket into what we call a gravity turn. During this turn, the vehicle is flying both up and
power and telemetry nominal.
Horizontally away from the launch pad. Everything is looking good. In just a few moments here, you'll hear the call out for max Q.
Falcon is supersonic.
Falcon is now faster than the speed of sound. And max Q is the period of maximum aerodynamic pressure that the vehicle will see in ascent.
Max Q.
There is that call out for max Q. And coming up shortly, we will have a few events in quick succession, starting with MECO, or main engine cutoff, followed by stage separation,
MVAC chill,
second engine start 1, and the boost back burn. You heard that call out for MVAC chill as it prepares for second engine startup. Now, main engine cutoff, or MECO, is the point in flight where we shut down the 9 Merlin 1D engines on the first stage. Shortly after that, stage 1 and 2 will separate from each other, with the first stage booster beginning its trip back to Earth. Second engine start 1, or SES-1, is when we ignite that single Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage. The boost back burn will then start up on the first stage, which is one of the 3 burns required for the vehicle to make its way back to today's landing zone. This burn assists the vehicle to reorient itself back towards land. And in just under 10 seconds here, we should have main engine cutoff, and you'll see those 9 Merlin 1D engines on the first stage shut down.
main engine cutoff.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC ignition. Stage 1 boost back startup.
Wow, beautiful views from the first stage and second stage camera. You can see the first stage leaving in that view. And as you saw and heard, those events just happened. Main engine cutoff, stage separation, second engine startup 1, and the first stage boost back burn. You can see beautiful views of that first stage boost back burn right now. That boost back burn will continue for about 30 more seconds. Again, this is the burn where the engines will bring the trajectory back towards our landing site at Cape Canaveral, back to landing zone 1, which is just a short hop from where we lifted off just a few minutes ago. And we have just under 10 seconds of that boost back burn of the first stage.
Stage 1 boost back shutdown.
There is the shutdown of that first stage boost back burn. You can see the second stage is still in the middle of its burn. And in about 3 minutes, there will be 2 additional burns on our first stage to prepare for its landing at landing zone 1 at Cape Canaveral. We are just under T plus 4 minutes
Both
into
vehicles are on a nominal trajectory.
Into today's mission. You just heard the call out that both first and second stage are on a nominal trajectory. CRS-32 is SpaceX's 45th launch this year. We are coming up on entry burn of the first stage and then second engine cutoff of the second stage. Around the T plus 6.5 minute mark, you should see on your screen the first stage's entry burn. For that entry burn, we relight 3 of the 9 M1D engines on the first stage, starting with the center E9 engine, followed shortly after by the E1 and E5 engines. And this burn will slow the vehicle down as it passes back into the Earth's atmosphere. We need to slow down to reduce re-entry forces, which help us to recover and reuse the first stage. You can follow along on the screen to the bottom left and right of your screen. You can see the stage 1 telemetry on the bottom left and the stage 2 telemetry on the bottom right. And again,
both vehicles continue to follow a nominal trajectory.
Both first and second stages continue to be on a good trajectory. And on your screen is the second stage MVAC engine glowing in the middle of its burn, carrying our CRS-32 mission with the Dragon and trunk on top of the second stage right now. We are under a minute to the start of that first stage entry burn. Again, this will be a 3-engine burn of our first stage as it slows itself down, making its way back to landing zone 1. And that burn will be a 3-engine burn with the center E9 engine along with 2 engines on the side. Meanwhile, second stage continues to be looking good with that single Merlin vacuum engine carrying the Dragon capsule.
Both vehicles continue to follow a nominal trajectory
towards the orbit. Just a few seconds away from the start of that first stage entry burn.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
There is that start of the first stage entry burn.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
And there,
Stage 1 FTS has saved.
There is the shutdown of the entry burn and the call out that the flight termination system has saved. Now this first stage that's supporting today's mission has just performed its entry burn for the 3rd time. Falcon 9 is the world's first orbital class reusable rocket, and this is important because reusability allows SpaceX
both vehicles following a nominal trajectory
to refly the most expensive parts of the rocket, which in turn drives down the cost of access to space.
Now coming up, we'll have the landing burn on the first stage,
Stage 1 transonic.
quickly by the shutdown of our MVAC engine on the second stage. You can see the lights of the Florida coast in that view on your left.
Stage 1 landing burn.
There is the start of our stage 1 landing burn. We're now waiting for Falcon 9 to make that precision landing.
Deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
What a beautiful view of that stage 1 landing. And there you have it. That landing marks SpaceX's 434th recovery of an orbital class rocket, including first stage landings for Falcon 9 and Heavy. We are now looking at stage 2.
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance,
which is carrying our CRS-32 mission, and it is in the middle of its burn with the second engine cut off in just a few moments here.
Stage 2 FTS has saved.
And you heard the call out that flight termination system is saved, getting ready for shutdown.
nominal park orbit insertion.
There we got confirmation. We did have second engine cutoff, and we did have confirmation of a good orbit. It looks like we're on track for Dragon separation in just under 30 seconds here. The vehicle is now coasting with Dragon attached, and we are just moments away from spacecraft separation. We're seeing a great view from the second stage as it cools down and prepares to separate Dragon so that it may begin its journey to the International Space Station. Looks like we may be seeing the sun rising and shining on that MVAC.
Dragon separation confirmed.
There is that confirmation of Dragon separation. We've had a great mission so far with an on-time liftoff at 4:15 a.m. Eastern Time, a successful stage separation followed by a successful landing of our first stage at Landing Zone 1 and a good orbital insertion. We are now just waiting for nose cone deployment, which should happen in just a few moments here, so I'll hand it back over to you, Joseph, at JSC.
Thank you very much, Yome, and great to see the NASA SpaceX 32nd commercial resupply mission light up the morning sky off the Florida coastline. And always great to work with you as we again await the nose cone deploy. And as we await those moments where the nose cone will expose those 4 forward bulkhead Dracos, these Draco thrusters will execute a series of maneuvers necessary to raise its orbit and meet up with the International Space Station. So as we continue to monitor that nose cone deploy, right now, immediately after Dragon separates from the Falcon 9, it begins what we call the activation and rendezvous phase of the mission. Now, this is during the phase that Dragon is configured for on-orbit operations and will begin after the separation of Dragon from the Falcon 9, which you just saw, and it'll end with the completion of the final co-elliptic burn that'll occur as Dragon begins its methodical approach to the International Space Station. Our initial orbit today, 190 kilometers by 210 kilometers, with those numbers representing the perigee and apogee of the orbit, the lowest and highest points of the Earth. That means the orbit isn't a perfect circle, but more like a very slight ellipse. And over the next several hours after liftoff, Dragon will execute a series of burns, which will gradually raise its orbit to align more closely with the station. And there are 5 major burns or firings of those Draco thrusters we were talking about on Dragon that will bring the spacecraft close to station before we begin the final approach maneuvers. And we'll continue to monitor that nose cone deploy as it looks like it'll get underway here shortly. Let's take a look inside and transfer to the control rooms. On the left side, you can see the SpaceX mission control teams over in Hawthorne, California, and that oversaw today's launch and will continue to monitor Dragon on its journey to the International Space Station over the next day. The team you see on the right are here with me in mission control in Houston, and the International Space Station flight control team is monitoring the orbiting complex, and over the course of the operations jointly with Hawthorne, the flight controllers there. Those